Hey y'all, it is Moonlight Cowboy, and I am going to go through a lot of items with you. So, this is for you scrappy builders out there who are looking for items that, when you break them, they have a totally different look. Now, I went through everything that I have, and everything that I could break, I had that I broke. And what you're going to see here as we're continuing through this thing is really just how every item that when you break it, it shows a destroyed version of it, how that looks. Now, I don't have every item in the game, but I have a lot of them. I mean, a lot. I've been building since day one. I missed probably about 10 or so, Atom Shop items along the way. I have almost all the prefabs, and I'm missing some of the items from like the new quest lines, but I have most of them. So for those that are interested in seeing what those look like, this is going to be a great video. You know, you're going to see some nuances here, like you're going to see the mobile trailers, the doors. You know, they each look a little different. They have different perspectives about them. For example, like these two right here, they look completely fine when they're destroyed. But then this one right here, when you destroy it, normally you have to raise the door up just a little bit, or the door is going to flicker into it. You know, but this is for those who do like to use the destroyed items as part of the decor, and there's a lot of them. And what I did, again, I just took everything that I had and I destroyed it and saw what items looked like they had a destroyed function and what didn't. And I didn't include, obviously, the ones that didn't. I also included ones that have animation, like this gutted car gate. When you destroy it, boom, it has that really cool effect on it. So something that I value. And then you have some like these fences here where you really only get some posts or some destroyed concrete. But I felt like it was only fair to include these in the video because somebody might use them for something. Like this could be posts for somebody's build, if you destroy it. Again, you have little posts and stuff like this in here, which, I don't personally see a use for it, but I'm not a good scrappy builder. I've done a couple scrappy builds and I think they came out okay, but I'm nowhere near the level of like Nux or Fuzzbrain or Silver Bunny or any of those people. I just don't, my mind doesn't work that way. And that's the beautiful thing about building in Fallout 76. You have different styles. Like I'm a clean builder. But again, I realized not too long ago that, wow, I sure do have a lot of these items, and I'm realizing a lot of people don't have as many items as I do because I've just invested a lot of time and resources into funding my Fallout 76 hobby. So I'm going to be including a lot of these, and I will be coming on and off the mic as I see a couple of things that I know that I personally like to use in this whenever I've done a scrappy build, or ones that I know that scrappy builders that I know of, they tend to use a couple of things specifically. A lot of them are the doors, but you'll see some camp items coming up, especially like the floor decor items and a couple other things that will work in your favor if that's something you're trying to do in terms of scrappy building. That being said, one of the other things that I also worked on with this is the prefabs. Now, you're going to have those people, I know I'm going to read it in the comments somewhere. Somebody is going to be like, well, Moonlight, you can't build in a destroyed prefab, and will you place anything down on it? Well, you might be right there, but the thing is you can actually float things in there. There's a lot of ways that you could actually make that work. Like this railroad water tower, excuse me. I just saw somebody, I believe it was Tilius, that did a camp inside of the broken version of this by floating all the stuff from underground inside of it. And yeah, did it take a lot of time? Sure. Did it look really cool when it was done? Absolutely. So again, some of these, like these water purifiers, they don't really look like much, but it wouldn't make sense for me to do a video about this if I did not include them. So anyways, I'm going to pause myself, and as I come and I see some things that I'm like, oh yeah, this is something that I know people like to use, or I think this is a cool idea, I'm definitely going to give that a shout out. So here's one right here, the cement truck. When that's broken, this thing looks really cool, especially for like a junkyard type build. I've seen this used a lot, and I think this is a cool look. Right here, we're going to have the busted radio, and when you break it, it actually is busted. It's one of the only things in the appliance category that have that look. And then this is a bowling arcade machine. I thought that looked pretty cool broken as well. These are the shooting targets. Most of them actually have a broken feature on them when you break them. As you're seeing, I'm going to shoot them right now. Out of these, it's those four, and then the jug right there has a like a broken look to it as well, which looks kind of cool when it's up on as some like decor on a shelf or something like that. Here we have that forklift. That's another great item for your junk builds. I don't see enough people using this saxophone. I think this looks really cool when it's broken. It definitely adds some really cool appeal with that rebar look. Up next, we have this UFO sign. This is great because it actually covers things when you break it that you can't normally merge things into. And then the construction loader goes right in line with the forklift and the cement truck. Two of my favorites. We have the vendors here, and most of them look about the same when they're broken. I'm going to show you the animation from the one from the Wild West version, and I think this looks really cool. This would be a good one that if you wanted to do like where you need something shooting up, like maybe like an oil well or something, you could use that as the oil well shooting up and have that on like a trap or something. I think that would be a cool idea. Now we're going to get into the prefabs. Again, you can actually build in these. Just because you can't place stuff down there, like, I mean, go back, watch some of my tutorials on how to float camp items, or how to do some of the crazy things you can do in camp building, and you're going to get an idea of all the really cool stuff you can do with like a broken prefab. Like prefabs like this one, there's not much of a difference, right? You got a little hole on the side right there that you can see. That's not a huge difference. There's a few cables that are in disarray, but some of these prefabs, when you break them, they look really different. Like this, for example, that could be really cool for somebody. This is one where I'm like, it's got a big hole in the roof and a couple of holes on the side. I don't think that that's a super big deal, although it does look kind of cool. But something like this, this has a little bit more functionality. It's got some holes in there. It almost looks like a destroyed village house from like Skyrim or something. I think somebody could really make something pretty out of that. So, like I said, some of these things have some really cool broken features. The bulwark here, not much of a difference, but it does stay smoking at all times, which is kind of neat. But other than that and a couple missing tires, it's not much different, right? The woodland retreat is another one where, it's got some minute differences. It's got some big holes when you break it, like in the front door right there. And the glass up in the top ring, that's all broken. And then you've got a couple little holes and things in the back here where the windows are broken. This is a cool one, though. Like the Fred's Barbecue trailer, I think looks really dope broken. It almost looks like it's bending on a hill. It's kind of like an optical illusion. I like that a lot. The haunted bell tower is another one that looks pretty cool when broken, but you know the visuals are not super striking. Like, you know, you got a little hole here and there, but it's pretty cool looking. It's hard to work with though when it's broken. The mud hut though is one where, you know, when you look at it, it's really super destroyed. So that one would be a neat one to do. You know, the Family Fun Center, not a big difference. You know, you've got some bowling pins and a giant hole in the roof, and the windows are broken out, but it's not a super big impact. But I have seen people building it broken, and it does look cool. Last Stand's a weird one because, as you see on the left, not much has changed. You know, like the little walkways and the rail is off. But when you look at the inside, so this is when it's not broken. And then this is when it is broken, so it's really unique on the inside how that is. Now, the Blue Ridge theme truck is cool when it's broken. A lot of people use that one. I don't see a lot of people use the Creamery stand to begin with. The only big difference is that a giant gaping hole in the back, and the windows are a little bit more like the glass is kind of blown out of them. Now, here's one that, like, Lady H did a really good one. When this is blown out, this is really cool, and she did a really neat build around this when it's broken. So I highly recommend you go check that out. So here's another one, not a huge difference, some holes here and there, but it does look cool. The broken glass in the front is kind of neat looking as well. With this watchtower, now there's two watchtowers because of the new rollout, but this one, that's not super noticeable, but you'll see there's a lot of paneling missing on the side there and on that roof right there. Now, the Land Lover and the Sea Legs, like, the only difference is one can be put in water, but they look identical otherwise, so I'm just showing you the one. But other than the sign hanging down, which actually is kind of cool and a hole in the side, I think it's kind of meh. This prison car, though, does look really cool when it's broken because you got big holes blown out of the side of it, which I've seen people use, and that looks neat. The fat stack is not much different either. You have a little bit of damage here and there, but nothing too crazy, so I didn't put a lot of time into this one. The Wild Mountain Rifle Range, this was one that we got from like an event, and it's got a big hole blown out, and then some of the concrete around the front is chipped and the stairs are messed up. Other than that, it's not a huge difference. And then the Earthlight Lounge, I think I've seen somebody use one of these destroyed as well. But anyways, you see that there's some of the glasses missing and some of that, like the paneling is like all jacked up and stuff. It kind of looks cool. This is a funky one to use to begin with. The Wildwood Tavern, you know, this is a pretty common one, but when it is broken, you see all those big holes on the side and stuff. It does look kind of cool, but, you know, if you want my honest opinion, the Wildwood Tavern is kind of one of those overused. When you see one out in the wild, you're like, oh, another Wildwood Tavern. Oh, okay. You know, but it can look cool under the right circumstances. This is a cool one. So when you break the Triumph Terrace track house, like, it looks really pretty as like a pre-war house, but then when you destroy it, man, it looks really cool. I'm really excited. I haven't seen anybody do a scrappy build with that yet, but I'll be excited to see that. The makeshift mega mansion, this one's another one that really looks different, especially when you look at like the railings, the stairs, and then the top trailer. That gets like blown to smithereens. Like, look at that thing. So if you want, like, I want to be scrappy, but I want to be so scrappy that I'm more scrappy than everyone else, that one's a cool one. And this is one I've seen a lot of people use destroy too. Because you get these ramps, or they look like ramps when they're destroyed, it actually kind of looks cool that way. So I've seen people do stuff with that looks really neat. Mobile home trailer. So this one and the destroyed trailer are vastly different in terms of looking broken versus fixed. And these are ones that I've seen people do some cool things with as well. Specifically like the mega scrappy builders, which I'm not. I've tried. I wanted to include these because I've seen people recently start really using these, the movie set facades. They do look cool broken, and you can make like the front of your house to include that, probably flip one of those around, and that would actually look pretty neat if you built like a house into it and hid the sign. I think that would be cool. The log cabin is one. Look at this. Like, if you do this right, you have all these destroyed logs everywhere, and I think you can get like 3 of these in play at one time. So somebody doing like a logging camp, that would be neat. The red barn, this is another one that a lot of people have. I only bought it because of the barn doors, but when you do break it, it does have some pretty cool holes in it. The white barn also has a similar look now too, the new one that came out with the season. This one's cool because it has some debris inside, but otherwise it just has that hole and some concrete damage. The Wavy Willard Wipeout. Now, I don't know why anybody would use this thing unless you're making like a water park or a destroyed one, because the destroyed version of this is actually pretty cool, but it's very specific on how you can use this thing. But for those that are looking to make that kind of a themed camp, this could be pretty neat. So this is how that looks destroyed, and you can see this upper deck and all of this like metal that's peeling off the side from being destroyed. The Charleston Fire Department isn't one that I thought was like super mind-blowing when it's broken. You get a few holes here and there, but I didn't think this was super super awesome. I bought that one for the door too, more than anything. That door is awesome. This is a good one. So the Blood Eagle Nest, it looks great when destroyed. You can see all that char on there, and like half the roof's missing. That's neat. I've used this communist bunker broken in a video a long time ago, and I thought that came out pretty cool. The train car looks really cool broken as well. What I'm disappointed in, the new train car, the Blue Ridge one, or no, it's the Voltec one, that one does not have anything cool about it when it's broken at all. It doesn't even break, like it just goes invisible. Pittsburgh Palace is another one. When it's broken, it has a lot of damage to it. The train car up top is kind of bent over a little bit, and all the ramps are kind of disheveled. So this one is a very unique look to it. I could see somebody making something really cool out of that. So we ran through some that I didn't think were big difference makers, but this next one coming up here, which is going to be the Red Rocket Garage, this one looks really cool when it's broken. I mean, it's really broken. I do recommend trying to build with that for those who are looking to get creative with a scrappy build. The Mausoleum is one that has a few holes in it. This one would be good for like an abandoned graveyard. I know a lot of people have used this for graveyard. I mean, after all, it's a mausoleum. But if you tried to do like a destroyed or like, you know, one that's been disturbed, you could probably do something really cool with like the holes being blown out of the side of that like that. I think that's really neat looking. I can see this next one, the Camp Counselor tent, being of use, especially for those of you trying to make like a, I don't know, like a Friday the 13th kind of build, because of the way the tent is all disheveled. I think that's kind of cool too. The CD Shed is one people take for granted because it's kind of normally looks crappy, but that, and then this Freight Wagon too, when you destroy that and it looks broken like that, that's neat. This is one I discovered while doing this. Look at that foosball table. When you break it, you just have the characters and the ball. I thought that was cool. Grain silo isn't bad. It has that little shell, and you can place, I think, 3 of those. The Flying Fortress here, this one, it's kind of hard to see the changes. I mean, that's how it looks normally, and I'm going to show you broken right now. You get that little hole in the side, and there's a couple other little details, but I really don't know if this would be one that somebody would be all in on trying to do a scrappy version of it, because it seems like a lot of work for very little reward on that. I mean, you got a couple holes here and there, but I don't think it's all that in a bag of chips. But I'm showing you them all anyway, just so you see what they look like. I saw somebody do a really cool build, by the way, with what we just saw, that dome. Al Bad Boy did one that was really neat. This Nuka-Cola sign looks really cool broken as well. Look at that thing. It looks really like antiqued, or like with patina on it. I really like the look of that. And the Slocum Joe's right here looks really weird when it's broken. Look at this thing. You just get like the thumbs up, like, yeah, I'm okay, but he's not okay. And then that's the new stack bar sign. So you get that little post. So this one, the Mega Red Rocket Mega sign, that looks pretty neat. You get that actual scrap, that stays there. So if you're looking to make like a scrappy floor, that looks cool. So this is both the destroyed highways. They were combined. That's the main part. And then this part gets a little hole in it. So if you get creative, you might be able to insert something like a glass roof in there. And there's the Nuka-Cola billboards. I wish the Attack of the Fishmen or whatever worked on that, but that one doesn't break and show. But that's the Nuka-Cola billboards. I think they look pretty cool broken as well. Now we come to some of the new items with the new season. So the gas awning just has these little posts that stick out. I could see somebody getting creative with that. The standing windmill is a very similar situation. When you break it, you just have like some wood that's kind of disheveled right there. I can't see a purpose in that because you have to keep the little foundation in there. So I feel like that would be troublesome. This watchtower though doesn't have a foundation. I believe you might be able to place that in odd spots. And that might actually be really cool. Like, you know, somebody can make a disheveled house if they add a roof to it. The barn, I think this one looks a little cooler than the red barn when it's destroyed, because it has built-in doors in the back, and one of them ends up down. You have a hole in the roof. You've got some major holes in the side. And like I said, if you look at that barn door, which we're going to go inside them and you'll see it from the inside perspective right here. You know, I think that's a pretty cool look. I could see somebody doing something cool with that. And then you've got all those holes blown out of it. I think that's way cooler than the red barn. This is another neat one, and again, these have just come out, so I haven't seen what anybody could do with this, but wait until you see the transformation here. Like, boom, that's destroyed. You've got the red ridge, or the blue ridge sign that's all hanging. You've got all of these, like the patio and all the wood is all warped and destroyed. This is going to be neat for somebody with the right skill set. I don't see what anybody's going to do with this, but I'm just including it anyway. This is the Raider boxer ring. It just really takes out the fence that's around it and makes it look a little bit more faded. Here's the Raider Lodge. So this has a similar effect as the other lodge when it's broken. So right now it has like all the little white tarps and stuff over it. And when it's broken, you get these really cool overarching pieces like that. And I think that's a really neat look. So, Lady H, if you're listening, I'm waiting to see what you do with this one. And hopefully you found this helpful for those that are scrappy builders. If you did, please like, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and y'all have a blessed day.